Have you ever feared taking action on something, but you wait too long to take that action? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the takeoff method to pitch out of that fear of failure and start winning. Let's get right into this video. So before I go into details on how to use this method, the takeoff method, I would like to explain the concepts briefly before I go into details on how this could be related to your life. To take off is to ascend from a ground state or to ascend from a state of rest into the air. Imagining you were in the cockpit with a pilot, you get to examine and see that the pilot goes about taking some checklist to make sure that everything is right on the ground before he goes ahead to taxi, speeding, and then taking off. But how can we relate this to life? First, start your engine. What do I mean by you have to start your engine? You have to tell your mind, I have to start. Because without the pilot checking all possibilities and procedures that is required for him to take off, there is no way he's going to send you to your destination. But the thing he has to do at the ground state is to start. He needs to start taking out what is required of him before he takes off from the ground. And that is how you can relate this to life. Just start your engine. Tell your mind, I have to start. Because without starting, there is no way you're going to take off. And there's no way you're going to overcome your fear during the taxiing stage to speeding and taking off. The second thing you have to understand is learn and figure out from your failures. How can we relate the taxing stage to life? And the only way to relate the taxing stage to our life is to learn and figure out from our failures as we start. If you don't start to take actions on whatever you would like to achieve in life, there's no way you're going to get to the taxing stage where you learn from your failures and figuring out the lessons that you learned from your failures in order to reach the point that is required for you to speed up and take off. The next thing you have to consider, that is the third, is to double down on what works. As the plane takes off and taxis slowly, in this stage you get to learn and figure out what doesn't work, what works, and you get to keep to what works, and you glide slowly to the point where you can speed up. In this stage, you have to double down on what works. The pilot begins to speed up and prepare for acceleration. Only way to pitch out of your fear of failure is to tell yourself, I have to start my engine, and tell your mind, I have to start. The next step you have to take is to learn and figure out from your failures. So as you proceed in life, there are going to be a lot of failures you're going to encounter. You learn from your failures during the taxing stage. During the taxing stage, there's a slow movement that goes on here. This gives you the chance to learn from your lessons and make changes before you get to the line and speed up and take off. And the last step to take is to take off. When you start winning, there's no way you're going to win without starting from the ground stage and taxing, learning from your mistakes, your lessons, your failures, figuring out what works for you, and speeding up at this stage right after crossing the line by doubling up on what works and now taking off to start winning. This is what I mean by the takeoff method. Using this to pitch out of any form of fear that you have in life and start to win. The only way to pitch out of your fear is to start from the ground stage. Start your engine, tell your mind, I have to start. Taxi from this stage, learn and figure out from your failures. Now speed up, double down on what works, go even times 2, even times 10 of what works, and now take off. Taking off is when you're going to scale on what works. So this is when you start winning more and more and more. Let me know in the comment section how this takeoff method can be related to your life. and I'll see you in the next video.